After the collapse of THQ and the pickup of the Homeworld IP, Gearbox Software went to lots and lots of PAX conventions with news and updates of all Homeworld games. It started in 2013 and continues to this day. Here is all PAX's conventions. That includes the Homeworld segment in.
Something else happened that some of you guys might know. One of the major publishers went away. Did you guys hear about when THQ is? So that's never good news. But one of the things that happened as a consequence of that is, THQ did have in their possession some great IP, intellectual property for brands and games we love. And one of the brands that was in the THQ stable that they didn't really do anything with for as long as they had it was a brand called Homeworld. Did anybody, yeah. And when THQ started to evaporate, Brian kept coming into my office every day and saying, "Randy, we got to get Homeworld. We got to get that, And so I interacted with the THQ guys, and we became part of that process, bidding on the brand, and eventually Gearbox acquired the Homeworld franchise. So what I wanted to ask Brian to talk about, because what we got was we got the brand, we got the games, and we've got some passion, and it's really directed from Brian. So Brian, tell us about why did we do this? Why did we spend all this money to buy this?
Explain yourself.
Well, I mean, who doesn't love spaceships, right? I mean, they're awesome, and this is one of those games that just for me sort of moved me as a brand. I really was impressed with how both the story, some of the best spaceships I'd ever seen outside of Star Wars, and it was just sort of that part of it that meant something to me. So I really thought that we should kind of get it out there to the rest of the world, and a lot of folks haven't had a chance to play it. It's only been on DVD. Or CD, out there, and so hasn't ever been released digitally. And so I thought that, well, we need to let the world see this. We need to get a lot of people to play it and love it the same way that I have, and a lot of the community that has, especially after we bought it, has reached out. I mean, you can still see that there are people making mods for it. I mean, it's a pretty amazing thing.
So what was the process like? So, I don't know if anybody here has ever, been on an auction acquiring a video game IP before, but that was kind of an interesting experience. So, from your point of view, tell the story. How did that go?
Well, it's sort of a weirdly long process. I mean, you have to go through all this effort to sort of do due diligence on it, look at what assets they have, and they won't really show you anything, so you're kind of guessing as to directory structures and all these kind of things. What are we going to get out of that? And then we're debating, how much do we think it's going to go for? I don't know. What else do you think out of what we did there?
Well, it went in a couple rounds. At the beginning, we put in initial bids, and we had to put money in an escrow account that the people that were auctioning off all of THQ's properties were able to look at and see that we were good for it. We couldn't just raise a card up. Number 23, I say I've got a couple $1 million. No, you had to actually put the money in and show them that you were good for it. And then it got down to about three bidders.
3 bidders, yeah.
And they decided to do a live auction on the telephone. And 2 of the other bidders were publishers, and we were the only developer. So that was really interesting. And we were just stubborn. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much true.
Yeah, so we ended up getting it. I felt good about the price we paid for it. It was less than what our CFO was comfortable with, which is always a good sign. So what are we going to do with it, Brian? So then the auction happened. Then how long did it take between when the auction closed and when we got the stuff?
It was another almost a month before we were actually able to get any of the assets. We were able to get a hard drive filled with everything, and then start really doing investigation into how we were going to actually build the game.
So what's our plan?
So our plan is to try to release it on Steam. We're going to upgrade all of the ships, make it look amazing for current day, current gen, because this thing is in some cases Homeworld is 15 years old, so at this point it needs a bit of a fresh coat of paint.
So did you just announce a Homeworld HD?
I might have. And Homeworld 2.
Homeworld and Homeworld 2?
Well, you know, 2 different products.
That's
like
awesome. Brian, I love Homeworld and Homeworld 2. I'm really grateful that you're making a high-definition version of the game. But I like the classic games. How can I get the original, unaltered, unaffected games?
Well, when you buy
Jesus
the
Christ.
HD version, you'll get those too.
So I know, isn't that terrible? We haven't rehearsed this. So Brian wanted to make sure, he wanted to make an awesome version of the game, so he's got a small team at Gearbox working on that. But he also wanted to release the pure versions as well. So when we eventually get that stuff out there on the digital platforms, you'll be able to get a classic, original, unaltered version of Homeworld and Homeworld 2, and you'll also get the HD version. And we've got to figure out what it's going to take to finish all that work and to get it deployed on the digital platforms. But we're doing it. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Absolutely.
And it wouldn't have happened if Brian didn't make me do it.
Yeah.
You know, after the auction, Alex Garden, he was the founder of Relic, you know, the guy that was behind the Homeworld effort. He called me and he just wanted to tell me how grateful he was that we got it, that a developer got the brand instead of a publisher. And he also pledged help and support. And we've been, Brian's, you know, flown out and met a lot of the guys that worked on the original games, and we've had our hand. And by the way, like, this is ancient code. It's really hard. What do we need? Like, what do we need?
Does anybody out there have a copy of Maya 3? Because
He's not kidding. Anyone
yeah.
that we're streaming this to, if you have a copy of Maya 3, we need the software
please get in
and
touch.
the dongle.
Yeah.
Legitimate.
You guys remember dongles? So that was DRM for commercial software back in the day. So we've been talking about Homeworld for about 20 minutes.
We have 20 minutes left.
Oh, we have 20 minutes. All right. So let's talk about something else. Thanks, Chris. One of the other things that happened recently that some of you guys know about is Gearbox acquired a game franchise that we love, that some of you guys might like, Homeworld. And Brian's wearing a shirt. So Brian is one of the owners of Gearbox, one of my partners. We've been together forever. And Brian, not like that.
Well, I mean, a few times.
If it was like that, it would be
Just
totally
once in
fine.
college. It was. Brian loves this game. Brian's, you know, the chief creative officer of Gearbox. He's an artist. He really appreciates what these guys have created. So he really spearheaded the effort. And we announced that we're going to bring Homeworld to digital platforms. We're going to re-release Homeworld 1 and 2 classic versions of the game. We're also creating HD versions. And Brian wanted to give you a look at how that's starting to manifest itself, because we're working on the HD versions of the game. So, Brian, I'm going to show you. You want to talk to this?
Yeah, go forward, Randy. So what we have here is maybe some of you remember some of the animatics that they had in the game, and the game was shipped on a CD, so the animatics were pretty small. They were maybe, I guess, 320 pixels high. So one of the things that we've done to help improve the quality of the game and to make it more beautiful is to up-res these. And so if we go through here, you can...
want me to show you the next one?
Yeah, please show the next one.
So this is what a frame looks like in the classic version.
Currently.
Yeah, and then...
Right. And so this is the scale difference between what we're doing and what it was.
So that center picture shows the relative amount of pixels that was in the classic version, and the larger image shows how many pixels are in the high definition version. And that's what the high definition image looks like now. So it's quite a dramatic difference. And if I go back and forth, you can really see that difference.
Right. So a lot more fidelity. I believe it's 1080, beautiful.
Yeah.
So, okay.
We've also worked on the materials and textures.
So here we have a lot of the ships that are obviously a big part of the game, and the things that we've updated are a lot of the texture res. So originally, I think like the biggest texture in the game was maybe 1080 tall, and that was on the mothership. So now we've quadrupled the size of the textures. They're about 2048 in some of the larger sizes, and so you can kind of see the details here. The normal maps will really pop in space, so you really see them when they kind of get the ships in oblique angles to the sun, and so a lot of the details that were there just through the pixels are now there in something that looks really fully formed and 3D. So it's really beautiful.
Now, I want to remind everybody that in addition to launching the HD version of Homeworld, the classic versions will still be preserved with all of the original assets. But you can see the effort that we're doing here. We're not replacing things. We're going over and making them high definition. And we've been able to collaborate with some people that had worked on the original games. In fact, one of the things that happened right after we acquired the franchise is there's a group that some of you guys might know about, Blackbird Interactive, and they were working on a spiritual successor to Homeworld called Shipbreakers. And Rob Cunningham, the president of Blackbird, was the art director of the original Homeworld games. And these guys had a lot of the source content, and they were able to get with us and give us access to that so that we could do this job. And that interaction led to some other conversations. In fact, it led to, and this came out, there was, I talked about it when I did the opening keynote at Pax Dev on Wednesday, and we did a couple interviews about this. The Shipbreakers game from Blackbird Interactive is now Homeworld Shipbreakers. And so this is a pretty cool thing. And we have the guys from Blackbird are here. I want to introduce them. I want to introduce Rob Cunningham and Aaron Cambeets. Rob and Aaron, are you guys back there? Come on out. How's it going? You can sit down. You can sit down. Oh.
Hello, Cleveland.
How's it going, brother? So, dude, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for
having us here.
Collaborating. So we did a deal recently. Rob and I signed it on Wednesday, and Gearbox is going to let Homeworld be part of their game. Their game is now Homeworld Shipbreakers, and we're also investing a pretty non-trivial amount of money, the millions of dollars necessary for them to realize their vision. So, thanks. Sure. So what do you think? You happy about what we're doing here?
Randy, we couldn't be happier. It's perfect. It's great to be with a team like you guys. It's amazing to be with a community like you guys. We're super excited. We're excited we can finish the game the way we had in mind. We're going to expand the team. So if you're interested, let us know.
In fact, yeah, on blackbirdinteractive.com, there's actually some job openings now. Part of our investment enables them to grow and get some more talent. So if you are a game developer and you love Homeworld and you'd like to help shape its future.
Absolutely. We're also really excited because with this opportunity, we're able to make it a commercial product as opposed to a free-to-play game. So we're pretty excited about that. It's something we know and we're comfortable with, and we think we can do the best job possible to give the entertainment that we know how to do.
We have your trailer. If you guys want,
cool.
You guys want to see what Shipbreakers looks like? Hey, can you guys backstage? Can you roll that? Can we roll that trailer for Shipbreakers?
Base runner, Alpha 1. Go ahead, Alpha 1. We found something. You guys better come out here. Okay then. Time to roll. Escort your spark.
Time.
here.
The signal is clean. No movement.
Definitely the Tosha class raider. Looks to be last entry. Could be the Atosha herself. This thing has been here for a while. Okay, rec scan complete. Let's check the perimeter now. I can never get used to this place. These wrecks creep me out. Escorts to defensive positions. Stand by salvage crew.
Roger that. We're standing by.
Okay, we are beginning our perimeter scan now. Enemy contact. Taking fire. So much for easy money. Prepare for battle.
Cool. So Hardware Shipbreakers is now Homeworld Shipbreakers, and we're going to be really excited to talk more about it in the coming months. We might even tease some more at our community day. Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Our
Really
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thanks
Looking
very much.
forward to
Thank you
working
very
together.
much, everybody.
Cheers. Those guys were among the founders of Relic. So, think about all the great games that we've gotten because of you guys like Rob and Aaron, and I'm just so excited to be partnered with such talent. So Homeworld, I just wanted to go over it once again. Homeworld 1 and 2 they're coming probably in the first half of 2014. There's going to be the HD and classic versions out there, and we still got some work to do to figure out pricing and launch date. We're not publishers, so this is kind of new to us, so we're figuring this out as we go. Also, Homeworld Shipbreakers is coming, and that's with this partnership with Blackbird Interactive. You can check out their website at blackbirdinteractive.com, and we'll have more information to come there.
So obviously everyone here loves Borderlands, but we did acquire Homeworld last year, and we're doing some updates today. So we're gonna bring out something like that. We're gonna bring out my boss, Steve Gibson, who is nice and employs me, and I'm gonna say nice things about him. So here's America's most handsome man, Steve Gibson.
I think Steve might be the tallest boss here.
He's absolutely the tallest boss I've ever met.
Oh, Did you guys see the picture I tweeted of Steve posing with Handsome Jack? And he was like, look at the gun.
It's the best.
Look at my Twitter.
I make lots of good decisions.
Steve is a great man.
Make your employee get control of his panel, Steve.
Get us under control, buddy.
I'm trying. So tell us about Homeworld. I mean, we haven't heard anything in a while. What's going on?
So so what we did was, as Drew here mentioned, we had some guys at the studio.
Talk into the mic.
We had some guys at home. There's a lot of dudes in here. Look back down. So we had a lot of guys in the studio who were really passionate about Homeworld. Like that had a lot of influence on our industry. It was groundbreaking, right? So when we had found out that it was going to be available, Brian Martell specifically was desperate to get this franchise into a place where we could expect great things to happen for it instead of it getting stuck in a loop of just never moving forward, right? This is a beautiful, wonderful franchise, and we want to see more happen with it. So the partners at Gearbox decided, okay, we're going to spend some money, a lot of money, and we're going to grab the IP, and what we're going to do is the first thing I think everybody wants to see happen is we want to see it available to as many people as possible. Like, this game doesn't, as the state it was, didn't even work on latest Windows. It's not available for digital download. So we're like, okay, let's do that. In addition to that, we've started to work on a remastering of it. This is as true as you can possibly be to the gameplay, while reworking all the visuals. We're replacing the render. Now, by the way, we're replacing the renderer. That's not free, but sorry. We're replacing the render, we're replacing all the assets, working it all over, and actually, let's show them the video. You want to do that?
We're also doing 4K support.
Yeah, 4K support as well.
This is new. So it's
yeah.
going to support, if you have a crazy NVIDIA video card and you have a crazy high fidelity monitor that can do 4K, you can run Homeworld in glorious 4K resolution. It's gonna be amazing. Homeworld Remastered.
All right, so this is a video where we've been talking to the original art director, creative director, design, like all those guys. We've been interacting with all of them. So here's a little bit of what's going on there.
What's exciting about a project like this is the modern capacity for technology to produce the vision that was had.
Homeworld is unlike anything that's out there. It's a game about epic spaceship battles.
The draw of being a people lost from your homeland and journeying across the stars trying to find your true home. There's something so pure and simple about that journey.
It's really of the video game industry. It's a real gamer's game. It was the game that worked. It was the game that lived up to its promise.
I've been a fan of Homeworld since the game came out. At the time, Homeworld was being published by Sierra, and so were we making Opposing Force, and that's how we got our start. Fast forward, nearly 15 years later, there's this opportunity to acquire the brand, and having been a fan, seeing it sit there in languish, I really thought that we needed to make sure that it could happen.
One of Gearbox's first franchises that we created was Brothers in Arms. And there was a mode, if you pause the game, basically, it would go into a situational awareness view where the camera would come back and you could sweep around. So much of how we engineered that and how we controlled the camera, I think, was directly inspired by the experiences I had playing Homeworld. I actually did not put that together until just now, when you asked me that question.
The mothership is standing by.
We launched a website for Homeworld just about, I guess, 6 weeks ago. And on there we had this survey asking you guys about what you would want in a potential collector's edition. And we have a little update about that.
Yeah, so turns out you guys want the coolest thing. So, so we're working on this thing. This will be over a foot tall. It is an irresponsible amount to spend on the collector's edition as far as what we're doing on it. Like, we're hoping we break even on this thing. Is that about right?
We might break even.
We might break even.
Good for you guys.
Yes.
We have a passionate guy who just wants to do.
So this thing is going to be. It will actually have a USB plug where it lights up throughout. Like, this is ridiculous. So the thing that you saw on the website, imagine that, but even a little bit more. The last count I heard was the number of people touching this thing on the assembly line is in the hundreds. It is.
So I've not seen this yet until right now.
Yeah.
And my dick just moved. That is amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So when we put out the remastered edition that we're hoping a little bit later this year, there's a very limited run of these because, as I mentioned, we're hoping we just break even on this thing. So when we put it up for pre-order with a retailer, you might want to snatch it up because you're only talking a couple of thousand of these things will be available. So probably not even enough for everybody in this room. But we really, really thought that Homeworld never got a collector's edition, right? Never got something like this. And for a franchise so important to our industry, we felt like we had the opportunity to do something to honor that. So that's why we're doing this.
Cool. Awesome. Before we let Steve go, I should also say that, you know, everyone should love him and adore him because he is also the one who always gives out the free stuff in panels, so we love you, Steve.
That's true.
So thank you. All right, awesome. So, you know, another thing that we've talked a lot about at these panels, and we'll do this one pretty quick, I think, today, but we've got Homeworld Remastered, you know, something we've been talking a lot about.
Wow, Homeworld fans, yes. I'm glad to hear that because when THQ went out of business, they auctioned off all their properties, and it surprised us. This incredible game that Relic made and a while back hadn't been given any love at all. It's just been left to languish, and we love Homeworld. And Brian Martell, one of my partners, Executive Vice President at Gearbox and Chief Creative Officer, insisted that we do something. So we grabbed it, we acquired the franchise, and we've been investing in bringing it out. So we've created a remastered high-definition version. We're going to show you what that looks like today. Yeah, so let's go ahead and show you first.
Hold on, but before you do that,
Yeah.
man, I've worked with a lot of teams in my career in development. We have got an awesome band together for this one. You know, have we talked about some of the original guys who are working on this?
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
We've got Ruskay
Paul
doing
Ruskay
audio.
did the
He is
audio.
amazing.
He was on the original team.
Luke Maloney. You know, Luke was one of the co-founders of the studio originally, and he's on it right now, helping. Of all the people as a lead programmer, he knows more about this franchise than anybody. It is amazing.
Yeah, and Rob Cunningham is up at Blackbirds Interactive. He helped us a lot, got us a lot of assets, and Lambeats.
Yep, Lambeats, yep.
These guys built Relic.
Old school Relic guys are all over this. Yeah.
So the idea was, let's get the band back together and let's do it right. Let's take Homeworld into the new generation. So what we've got is we've got a clip that shows you, because we've not merely just created a new engine to make it render in high resolution. We've redone all the graphics. We've also, the guys that made the original cinematics went back with their original source content and redid all the cinematics. So they're in crazy high fidelity right now. So this clip will show you that transition.
The clans were united and a massive colony ship was designed. Construction would take 60 years. It would demand new technologies, new industries, and new sacrifices. The greatest of these was made by the scientist Karen Sajet, who had herself permanently integrated into the colony ship as its living core. She is now Fleet Command.
So that's pretty wild how much it thinks.
We've got a bunch of screenshots too.
Yeah, so for the first time, we're going to show you what Homeworld HD Remastered looks like. This is a screenshot from the game. You can see that there's a lot added to the technology. There's a lot added to the engine, from depth of field blur to more capabilities with visual effects, real-time lighting, dynamic lighting, and an incredible amount of investment into the fidelity of the ships and the characters. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful game. Let's go ahead and slideshow through a couple of these. Looks so good. Look at how much complexity is in Homeworld too. The space combat is just epic.
On your high-res PC monitor, man, this is going to look amazing.
Yeah, look at that. Looks so good. So the game is going to be coming out in a few months. We haven't announced the specific launch date yet, but I'm hoping that by February. We don't have a publisher on this. We're doing this all on our own, and it's kind of new to us. We're not good at marketing and distribution and manufacturing and sales and all that stuff. We're good at making video games. So we're figuring out that stuff. But one thing we've done is we've put together a collector's edition, and I believe that as of today, for the first time, it's available internationally. So if you go to the Amazon.com website, you can get this. Now, we launched the pre-orders in the U.S. for the collector's edition a few months ago, and they sold out immediately. They're all gone. We had another allocation for international. It just went up, but it's going to be short quantity. If you want this, get it now. Now you'll still be able to get the game, of course. You'll buy it on Steam when it comes out, and it'll be modestly priced. But the collector's edition includes the statue that Brian Martell had commissioned, working with David Eddings, who does licensing with us, working with some great sculptors and toy manufacturers to create this 12-inch statue that lights up of the mothership. And it's a beautiful, beautiful statue. We have a couple of prototypes. One's in Brian's office, and I can't wait to get mine when this comes out. So if you want this, check it out. It's on amazon.co.uk right now, and that will ship to Australia.
Yep, and it'll be on Amazon DE and Amazon France pretty soon as well, probably later this week.
Great.
So cool. So we're talking about Borderlands a lot today, but we do have some other IPs that we own. You may remember last year we acquired Homeworld. So we want to give you guys an update on that. To do that, we're going to bring out a man you may recognize as the internet's first professional blogger, Steve Gibson.
Steve, there he is.
What's up, Blog Slice? That's not a good nickname, I'm sorry.
That was so good.
That
was so good.
That email, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was...
Rami's the
wait,
best.
did we learn the right or the wrong lesson there? I'm glad we didn't fix it. Wait, oh, hang on.
So hey, tell us about Homeworld. What's
Yeah.
going on?
All right. So, as you guys know, we got this a little while back, and we announced that we're doing a remastering of it. We thought about first, like, man, we just wanted to get on a modern platform, so we're getting on a digital distribution, all that stuff, and we thought we really wanted to do, let's up-res the textures a bit and all that stuff. And we got really ambitious with it, is what we've done. So what we've now done to this point as well, we started first with just doing textures and models. Turns out we replaced the entire renderer now. We're really excited about where it's going. But we've really gotten more and more into it. Of course, we're taking more time to do it. I wanted to share with you guys today, though, but in addition to redoing the visuals, we are redoing the audio and doing an entire remastering, re-recording all the stuff with the original composers, original voice actors. We're getting the old band back together. So what we're also doing... So what we're also doing, though, is we are redoing the cinematic scenes as well. And that... Uh-oh.
Sorry, this actually is very... Can you bring the house lights over on the left again? Because every time you do this, there's this bandit on the top left here, and he stands up, and I pee a little bit. So...
But it spins,
I just
too.
wanted to share that because I'm terrified.
That's actually Krieg, Mikey. That's Krieg.
Oh,
it's Krieg.
Yeah, but like, look at
what did I
his
say?
axe
I'm so
spins
scared.
and lights up. It's incredible.
It's Krieg. Sorry. Hello, Krieg. Hello. Continue terrifying me at your leisure.
Thank you. I love, as a moderator, I love interruptions like that. Yeah. As a moderator, I love interruptions like that.
Thanks for keeping us on track.
Yeah.
There's the time.
There's a clock.
So, Steve, what were you saying about those cinematics?
I was like riveted. I was riveted.
I know. So, I wanted to share with you guys something today, though. We thought about, well, we're in a theater with a fantastic sound, system, so we want to share with you guys some of the audio, and I also wanted to share with you guys what the reworked cinematics are looking like. Give you a little bit of a comparison, just to get an idea of what's happening and why is it taking so long. Well, it's a video game, so of course it's how we do. But give you guys a quick look. So, can somebody play this?
Oh yeah.
The clans were united, and a massive colony ship was designed. Construction would take 60 years. It would demand new technologies, new industries, and new sacrifices. The greatest of these was made by the scientist Karen SEGEMENT, who had herself permanently integrated into the colony ship as its living core. She is now Fleet Command.
So we also, about a month and a half ago, I guess it was, started taking pre-orders for our collector's edition as well.
Yeah, so this is the first time we've ever done anything like this too. Here is the actual, this is the finished version of what we're doing. This is what's going out. Yes. Now, I have some bad news for you guys in the United States. You remember when I, at PAX, was it PAX East? We announced what was going on there. I said there's very few. We've sold through about 95, 98% of these now. So next few days, I expect they'll be gone for all the United States customers. Here's another thing we learned. It's really hard to do international stuff.
Yeah, if anybody's watching the Twitch stream at home and you happen to be overseas, we're sorry, we're figuring out international. We're not publishers.
Yeah, we're clearly not publishers. But we did. We set aside a quantity, and that is still happening. We feel like that's imminent now, but we are learning every day just how hard it is to ship things to, say, France and Spain when you're an American company that doesn't know what the hell it is to publish a game. But we are very close to that, and here is a picture of, this is the actual, oh, by the way, it lights up. Yeah. And, yeah. Oh, and also, I spent a little more money. I made the cable long. I don't know if I told you guys.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it's got like a nice 12-foot extended cable. It just plugs into any USB thing. They were going to do it with like a 3-foot thing. I was like, oh. All right, so this will be shipping with the game, and we're hoping to announce the launch date really soon. But as you saw, we are going crazy with remastering of this thing. But you guys will hear more soon.
Yeah, it's a labor of love for my partner, Brian Martell, who's one of the founders and owners of Gearbox. So I don't know if there's any hope of us actually making any profit on this, but I know that if he is happy with the result and he believes that everyone like myself and like him who loves Homeworld feels proud of the result, then it'll be worth it. So we're happy that we're doing this.
This is a precious franchise to our industry. It established a lot of new groundbreaking things in our industry. And we feel how important that is and the pressure of that. We need to do right by this franchise. So we'll do everything we can to make sure it's done well. And I'm really proud of what Martell's doing, what Brian Burleson's doing, all of the guys over at Blackbird Interactive, the former Relic guys. We're getting in touch with everybody. We want to make this thing as authentic as possible and as modernized version of the UI and the graphics that we can for you guys.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you. Oh, sure. So we've been at this for a little while now, and innocently enough, one day we saw Homeworld was out there, and we were like, you know what? That's an awesome franchise. We want to make sure that more people get to play that. So it started simply enough of we decided to get Homeworld and remaster it and put it out on Steam and see how it goes. And it went really, really well. It was a lot of fun, and tons of new gamers were introduced to a wonderful franchise, and we were thrilled about that. So much so that we decided to create a new entry into Homeworld, and that was Homeworld Desert of Karak. And that was going great. We worked with our friends over at Blackbird Interactive up in Vancouver, and a lot of people got to try, for the first time in a long time, a new piece of content for the Homeworld universe. And it also went great. Couldn't believe it. And we were having such a great time with this. And I was like, well, man, it's pretty fun, publishing games for, other people, and it's really fun doing all this. So we started thinking about
Command team, stand by for gate sequence initiation.
Copy that. Mass distribution nominal, approach vector clean. All systems green.
Flash adrift. Jump formation locked in.
Gate sequence start. Quantum waveform detected. Jump gate online.
Commit systems enabled.
Here we go. Jump commit in 3, 2, 1.
Please welcome back to the stage from Gearbox Publishing, Steve Gibson, and from Blackbird Interactive, Rob Cunningham.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to be here, and it is my profound honor to announce today that, thanks to Gearbox Publishing, Blackbird Interactive is making Homeworld 3, finally. To say that we're excited about this project is just a ridiculous understatement. And let me tell you why. Next month is the 20th anniversary of the first title in this franchise. And when we made Homeworld in '99, we thought the big deal was going to be that it was 3D, not 2D. So it kind of tells you how far we've come as an industry since then. But we were actually completely wrong. The big deal with Homeworld was not that it was 3D. The big deal with Homeworld was the way it resonated with the fans, that the way it affected them, and the feedback that we've had over the years, the fan mail, the fan fiction, the fan art. In particular, the letters that people have written to us, the personal letters that they've written to us. They've taken the time to articulate why they connected with it, how it resonated with them, and how it inspired them. So, it was that emotional connection that mattered to us, and it really touched us. And, much more than an artistic or technical achievement, which is, of course, so quickly, blown away by the next amazing thing. So when the opportunity came with Steve and his team to make Homeworld 3 finally, we thought, what are we going to do here? And we thought, obviously what we're going to do is make this thing an absolute love letter to the Homeworld fans that have been wanting this thing for so long, and give them exactly what they want. And we know exactly what the Homeworld fans want. They want just massive spaceships fighting it out in space, epic fleet combat on a massive scale. They want gorgeous, spectacular, immersive environments. They want a story that follows the story of Homeworld 2 in a satisfying way that is true to the spirit of the original game and true to its roots. And most of all, they want that special sort of Homeworld tone and vibe that the brand is known for. So, we're going to do all these things, and then we're like, okay, well, how are we going to do that? And the way we're going to do that is by putting together an absolute perfect team of individuals, of talents, who have the chemistry, the history, the familiarity with the IP to pull this off. So we're talking about concept director Aaron Kambitz, who was the original lead artist on the Homeworld games. We're talking about Paul Ruskay, audio composer. Paul's done all the music on every Homeworld game ever made. He's going to be doing the music on this too. And of course, Rory Maguire and the development team at Blackbird Interactive, many of whom are Homeworld development franchise veterans. So, I think with this perfect team of individuals, we can deliver a worthy and authentic sequel into the franchise that the fans, want, they expect, and Lord knows they deserve. So thank you to Steve and his team at Gearbox Publishing for making this happen. Huge thank you and much love to the Homeworld fans and the fan community, and thank you guys here at PAX today. Thanks very much.
Man, Rob covered a lot of it. It is much like it is for Rob. This is a labor of passion for us at Gearbox. This franchise, Homeworld, is the reason that we got into the world of becoming a publisher and got into the world of helping other developers bring their games in front of so many people. We owe this to the franchise. We owe this to the Homeworld community. We have to do this. And as part of that, we decided actually to do an open development and publishing schedule where you see on the URL behind me or wherever you're looking at it. We did a partnership with Fig. Now, Fig has a bunch of tools that help you communicate and tell everybody how this is going else. It also allows people to get in if they actually wish to invest into the financial future of the game, and you can actually get a reward on that. Because really, it's about giving back to the franchise that they gave us so much, and we are just thrilled to death to be a part of the Homeworld IP. And in fact, we want to do more with Homeworld, so we're going to do that too. So we're doing one more thing. We're doing Homeworld on mobile as well. Now, it's a separate game being made by our friends over at Stratosphere Games, and it's going to be actually coming out next year. And we decided that anybody who participates in the Fig campaign that Rob's got going over at Fig, they're also going to be the first guys to get to play Homeworld Mobile when it comes out next year. And we have a cute little teaser for you guys to check out. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Now, just at last PAX, we announced something else. Homeworld 3. Take a look. All right, want me to bring Rob out? Hey. All right, well, we'll start with, I'm going to bring out Rob Cunningham, founder and CEO of Blackbird Interactive. We're working together with Rob and his team to bring Homeworld 3 to the world. Rob, you want to come join me?
Hey, guys. Hey, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
It was a short video.
Yeah, it was great.
Thanks for having us here. Thanks for having me here. My mind is still blown about what happened on stage 5 minutes ago with Mike and Gina, I think it was. Congratulations, you guys. We were watching from the back.
Yeah. I thought she knew. I thought for sure she'd know. She did not know.
I was watching the monitors in the back, and I was like, fuck, is this actually happening? and she's like, the same thing, and I'm like, please say yes.
Yeah.
This is totally a fail video happening right now.
We were going to get drinks. If she said no, we had a bet. We were going to...
But that was legit. When they went backstage, there was sobbing and hugging. And
so good.
Randy was right in there with the sobbing and the hugging. So, so thank God that went well. The team back in Vancouver are working on Homeworld 3. They're super excited. For the first time in my career, this is a team that's actually ahead of schedule.
Oh, man.
Which is surreal. Like, that's surreal. Just about a month ago, we were down in Texas visiting with these guys and showing them the first playable build, which, of course, as most of you know, is an early milestone in a game's development. And it's really meant to be an unglamorous, sort of rudimentary demonstration of gameplay and environment. And the Gearbox team were in there, and the Blackbird team were in there, and Randy and Steve was in there, and everyone was ready to go. And the game fired up, and from the first frame, with the sound and the look, it was just dripping with flavor and Homeworld 3-ness. And we were all so excited, and it went really well. There were no crashes. It was fantastic. The ships were exploding and blowing up. A massive cruiser comes out of the shadow of a big derelict covered in lights. Randy starts swearing, you know, and like soiling his trousers. Yeah, it went really, really well, so we're super excited. So thanks for the FIG campaign. I think Steve's going to talk a little bit about that in a second.
Yeah.
Thanks to all the supporters of that campaign, all the Homeworld fans, and all of you guys right here today. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
All right. All right. Now imagine you've been wowed by a trailer, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. And in fact, actually, so at last PAX, we announced not only are we putting together Homeworld 3 with Rob and his team, we also decided to do this in collaboration with the FIG folks. Now, what's special about that is it is an open communication and development process. There will be updates happening regularly about how things are going, like Rob told you here. There's a new update coming out in March, and what you can do with FIG is you can actually sign up, and you can participate in the success of the game. In fact, when we opened the campaign, it's already brought in over $1.5 million of people betting into, they think Homeworld 3 is going to work out. Rob said it's going to work out. So what is also interesting, though, is weirdly enough, the backer has set a record with the FIG campaign. It is actually the largest ever average investment per backer. Now, this thing is still open. We still would love for more of you folks to come on board and actually learn more about how the game's progressing. You can actually offer feedback to the team, and they're actually affecting the game as it develops. As although it's ahead of schedule at the moment, it is video games. But it's going really, really well, and we're really thrilled, and we want you guys to actually participate in the FIG campaign, and you can affect how what things are prioritized with story and campaign and multiplayer and all those different components we're thinking about. Now, one other really interesting fact about the FIG campaign is those people who are in or wish to jump in, we also announced that we're going to bring Homeworld to mobile. Now, last PAX, we said it's going to be on a phone. I can confirm it is on a phone, and we have a trailer now to prove to you. Take a look. Maybe we'll have a trailer.
Hyperspace jump complete.
Strike group moving into position. I've taken a hit. Getting banged around here. Weapon set to full power.